the Supreme Court unanimously sided with Donald Trump and will allow him to remain on the election ballot in Colorado. So this overturns the Colorado Supreme Court decision that disqualified him because of his actions during the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. This also means Trump will remain on the ballots in Maine and Illinois as well. So this is a decision that we've been kind of following, Tori. We talked about it last week. What do you think about this, especially, and a lot of people are bringing up, given that 3 of the Supreme Court justices are Trump appointees? Does that have anything to do with it?
Well, it could if it voted that way, but it was 9-0. And when the Supreme Court uses a unanimous decision, it sends a message. They all supremely agree on the substantive issue in this question. Now, the question is this: can you block a president who hasn't been convicted of the insurrection or inciting the insurrection? Do I believe he did? Yes, I do. Do I think he broke the Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which would take him away from the ballot? 100%. Did a judge say that? Did a jury say that? No. And until a jury or judge convicts Trump of inciting an insurrection, you cannot disenfranchise, even though I want to, the Colorado, the Maine, the Illinois voters. It is up to them to make that decision. It is overstepping by a long shot to say states can decide who or can't be on the ballot. That is up to the voters, and that is the backbone of the United States democracy. Did I think this would come out this way? Yes. 9-0, it's a clear message. Clear.
So, okay, my question is, was the move by Colorado, Illinois, Maine, was it symbolic? And also, was it symbolic just in terms of the effort? Because we know that because of printing, his name was appearing on these ballots anyway. So It wasn't as though that was happening. It was just a matter of if it would count or not.
I think someone had to take the shot. Someone had to get to the Supreme Court and let us know what the decision would be. But you're absolutely right. It was a move to show we don't believe in it. We think he crossed the line. We think he broke the Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. And remember, Colorado, Jared Polis, he might want to make a run for it for someday for president. This is a good look that he.
You think it's a good look, or do you think this backfired, given that he thought that he would be able to remove President Trump, former President Trump?
I don't think he ever thought he could.
But it got a unanimous decision.
Right. I think he wanted to make a statement for his state, but I think he knew the Supreme Court would take it down.
Jeff, what are you thinking?
It didn't get unanimous in Colorado. It was 4-3, and that was a Democrat-stacked committee. So they barely got out of Colorado with that. I think he should remain on the ballot, and that's not sticking up for Trump. In 20 years, it might be your person that this decision's going against, that the state doesn't like that,
right.
And they'll use it. So it's a precedent being set. 9-0 for the Supreme Court. I know it's stacked Republican, but there are still some Democrats in there, and even they voted. You don't want to win like this, and you don't want anything to, again, be like the 2020 election and be like, if you guys would have left me on that ballot, I would have definitely won this. You don't want any doubt, right? So I don't care what side you're on. It's American to vote for who you want to vote for. People vote for Mickey Mouse. You know.
Do we disagree on this?
I think so, and I think a lot of Democrats are like, we don't want to win like that.
I agree.
You know what I mean? It seems not American.
Disenfranchisement is not American. Exactly.
It really isn't. And that's just for me, and I know people are going to come to a different conclusion of what I'm saying, but I just think it's American to vote for who you want to vote for. If he gets caught up in some legal things before the election, that's a totally different thing. But to individualize each state and kind of make it its own country, that's not American.
All right, let's get to this next beat. Tomorrow is a big election day in this country, of course. 16 states will vote in their primaries, and it's Nikki Haley's last chance to try and slow down Trump from becoming the Republican nominee. Over the weekend, Nikki scored her first big win in Washington, D.C., becoming the first Republican woman to win a primary. Meantime, Trump won primaries in Idaho, Michigan, and Missouri. So do you think Nikki has any chance of slowing down Donald Trump? Tori, I know this is in D.C., but really quickly, I haven't heard from you, Al, so please jump in.
No. Now you can go to somebody else. No, she has,
Go to me.
She has no chance. And I mean,
not at all.
I think she knows that, but I think she's holding out maybe for a miracle. I mean, maybe she's planning on writing a book. She has to know that her inroads with the MAGA base are all but gone because she didn't drop out when they were suggesting she could. So I think she's holding out for a miracle at this point.
So, Tori, but what does D.C. see that perhaps I know it's not a state.
Right, thank you.
Perhaps other states don't see.
We're still taxed like a state, by the way. Hashtag taxation without representation. But I will say this, D.C. is 99.9% true blood Democrat. They are telling us they hate Trump so much that they'd rather pick Nikki Haley. That's what DC is saying. And that is true. It's their home state. They feel like they bashed it and they left it vandalized and made a mockery of our state or of our district. And they said, we'll pick anyone, even Haley, over Trump.
All right. So on the other side of the aisle, a poll in the New York Times over the weekend is getting a lot of attention. It shows that a majority of Biden's 2020 voters say that he's too old to be effective. 47% of those polled strongly agreed with that sentiment, and another 26% somewhat agreed. That's 73% of people total who feel that way. Meantime, only 21% of people polled strongly agreed Trump was too old to be effective, and 21% somewhat agreed. So what do you think of this poll, and is there anything Biden can do to change voters' minds? And then you add on all the protest votes, the uncommitted votes, like in Michigan, because they're unhappy with how Biden is using our tax dollars in Palestine, Gaza. So do you think that all of this is going to put Trump as the winner?
I think it's a crapshoot. I think this is a point where anything can happen. It really does come down to who's going to show up at the polls. So I really... this is such a strange thing to me because it's like Biden and Trump aren't that far in age. However, clearly there's some cognitive issues that have been an issue for Biden. People say listen to Trump, but I don't think the reasons why Biden is ineffective and Trump is ineffective are the same, although they seemingly show up, they present the same.
I don't think Biden's been ineffective. I think Trump was found liable of rape 40 days ago.
No, he was found liable of defamation, not rape.
No,
that's criminal.
Of the case that
Correct,
he was
but it's
found
of
liable in.
defamation. I'm not
Yes,
standing
the
up for it.
second trial.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
It's just interesting, like it's the nitpick there is what the country does. We forget. Would you let your son date somebody that had 91 open cases against them? Have we lost our minds in terms of like the normalcy? And you're like, no, it was the defamation, not the. It
I think
blows my mind where we are,
I
and we're
think
just
you
sitting
speak
here
for a
having
lot
this
of people.
conversation.
But I think we can do both. One is the sitting president. We have a right
Yes,
to question.
when somebody has back-to-back trials, we might get caught up. There might be a little nitpick here.
Al, the bar is
we're
in
gonna-
hell. We're just trying to survive it.